What do you make of President Trump's comments that NATO troops stood a little off the front line during the Afghanistan war?
It's complete nonsense. It is complete nonsense. I spoke to parents of young men who had lost their lives in Afghanistan, and I think it is a disgrace to denigrate their memory like that. Every November, we celebrate our fallen. It's not just World War I or World War II. It is more recent conflicts like Iraq and Afghanistan. And I think that there is too much careless talk from President Trump. He clearly doesn't know the history of what happened. I'm somebody who believes in NATO. It is a force for good in the world. We need a strong NATO. We mustn't have these sorts of throwaway remarks that actually weaken the strong relationship between those countries in the alliance.
Should President Trump apologise? Should the PM ask for an apology?
I think the PM should ask for an apology, and the PM should ask for a retraction or a clarification of those remarks. Something similar happened when J.D. Vance made comments like that. I remember sending a message, because he's someone who I do know, just saying, I don't think people understood what you said. Would you like to say it again? And he did so that would be welcome. But there is far too much random commentary and throwaway remarks that are unhelpful to the NATO alliance.
I mean, you're a politician. You pick your words very carefully. Aren't we just a bit blown away by him saying that?
Well, the fact is, President Trump is President Trump. When he says stuff that we agree with, great. When he says stuff that we disagree with, then I think we should be robust. What I'm most concerned about is the British national interest. I'm interested in what happens in our country and to our country. And I think when we look at a lot of the decisions that have been made, the vote we had a couple of days ago on veterans, this terrible deal with the Chagos Islands, there are too many decisions that are being made as if it's a long time ago, rather than the reality of the increasingly dangerous world that we live in today.
And turning to the local elections, just for clarity, you think they should not be postponed?
We've already had a postponement. A 1-year postponement for local government reorganisation, understandable. But 2 years, more than 2 years, that's just too long. Why is it taking so long for Labour to get organised? And what I've seen is them use quite a lot of bullying tactics to get councils to say they don't want local elections. I think that they should go ahead. That is Conservative Party policy. I know that there are 2 or 3 outlier councils who are doing something different, but that is not our party policy.
Well,
what I want to see is a level playing field. Farmers have to compete with imports from countries that don't necessarily have the same high standards that we do. Let's see what we can do about those standards. We want to see the higher standards. We want to look at the taxes, the regulations, which are stopping them from going into, from continuing with farming. Let's make life easier for them. They feed us. Let's look after them.
Good to see you. Kemi's James, my local chair.
Hello, Kemi. Good to see you again. Nice to see you. I'm not ready for music classes, so I knew the feeling.
Here. And if you could come back to the front, it might help me with some names later on. This on business. I would like to welcome our MPs. First, Kemi Badenoch. She is, of course, Leader of the Opposition. Next to my left is Dr. Neil Hudson. He's MP for 80s and local government. I'm going to read this spiel and then I'm going to hand over to you if I may. And that's really where we are with the foreign campaign about inheritance tax.
That have been faced upon you with this family farm tax and many other things are areas that we in the shadow team and led by Kemi, the opposition that we are producing to this government to say, look, we've got the rural communities tax.
Home team for Braintree in its new configuration at least, or Blackgrass, occasionally that you see in the fields. None of ours, obviously. Is this kind of one-way valve that they've created, as we've heard, as you already know, and it's just not good enough. And we're going to keep making that case. Thank you.
And which I hope you've heard, is that we get it. I had a very similar sort of experience when I first, but actually most people who come from sub-Saharan Africa and the Caribbean, they work on farms. And I remember my granddad just saying how hard it was.
Environmental features. I just wondered if a future Conservative government would regard, at least to help with national security, we are losing additional money.
So thank you, Simon, that's an excellent question. So the chip supply to build cars and computers suddenly created chaos in those markets.